What do you need from me as a leader? Where are your strengths and weaknesses that I can help you? Just watching people adapt to that question and answer that question helped me figure out if I can lead them.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Making a Masterpiece. And with me, I am so honored to have James Newell on the show. Hello, James. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I am the one that's honored to be able to join you and share some insights. I'm so excited to be able to share some time with you and with your listeners. I'm honored, just as you just mentioned. I'm honored as well. I just love what I get to do.
I don't even know where to start this conversation, but as I've mentioned, James is one of those seasoned leaders, and he's really been constantly engaged with a lot of leaders globally. And James, my first question would be, in all your encounters, and you've seen different forms of success, whether big or small, in just your journey, what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about success?
It's a great question because I believe it's a very important question. And through my experience, like you mentioned earlier, I've been around working with leaders within industries, within manufacturing, from mid-sized to very large companies, down to startups with 10 people that grew to 2,000. I've seen different levels and different understandings of success. And the biggest misconception that I often see is that people don't understand what success is because they're comparing what other people believe success is. Success is something that you define for yourself because it's your success. One way to ensure that it is success is that you can define why and how you got there. Most people say they're successful in doing something, but when I ask them a question, how did you get there? Can you share your steps? Can you share what you did? Because if you can't share how you got to success, it was luck.
That is a bold statement there. And I think I would agree. You tend to compare yourself to another person's success as defined by you. And as mentioned, if you cannot tell somebody how to become successful, then that's just really luck. James, I know a lot of our listeners, and I think even growing up, we always equate success with the position or the status that you have. And in all honesty, just like monetary value. What is wrong with that kind of thinking? Is it actually completely wrong? What is your take on that?
Like I said before, success you have to define for yourself. And naturally, you're going to be inclined to compare with other people and compare what they understand to be successful. But at the end of the day, you're then dependent on their definition versus your own definition. Because you can be successful in just learning. If you are intentional about learning something new, that's your learning. If you're successful in learning and you're successful in applying what you've learned, that's not only success, that's wisdom. And be able to share what you've learned with others so that they can learn through you. There are different levels to success because if you're successful and no one else profits from your success, maybe they profit from where you actually add value to other people through your success, then I would tend to say it's more egotistical. It's more self-centered success. We have a lot of people who are very successful, very self-centered successful, but they're very lonely people. They always say it's lonely at the top, but that's for those people who understand success as being siloed or exclusive for themselves. Those people who are successful at the top with lots of people around them, it's a whole different story. It's very difficult to differentiate because so many people are concentrated on themselves. If you want to add value to self, you have to add value to others. That's success. That can be measured. It can be shared. It can be inspiring. But if you're successful at the top and you're by yourself,
then something doesn't add up. You mentioned just two terms that firstly that you mentioned, there's that kind of success that's also egotistical. We clearly said that if you just feel like lonely at the top. And also then you also mentioned this word that in between that says significance. What does that practically mean, like being significant?
one of my mentors, John Maxwell, he basically taught me this principle. And over years of trying to apply it, making a lot of mistakes, failing, being successful, and being significant. So the difference really is you're successful for yourself, but you're significant for others. So what happens is when your success adds value to other people and they become successful by applying what you've helped them learn in their own, tweaking it in their own way, and you help them be successful, then you become significant. It's leaving that footprints in the sand. It's
Mm,
not the people following you in your footsteps. It's those people that you're empowering to go before you
wow.
and go
Wow.
past you, which means I define significance is when I hear people, when I hear my mentees, the people I work with, them sharing stories of how they use what they learned with the time with me, with their friends, family, employees. My legacy, as John says, his coaches, the people who work with John or mentees from John, he says, be my legs to my legacy. I look at it that way. How can I share my success with others? That will lead to significance. And that's different.
It's a very different mindset. You approach how you lead yourself, your organization differently with that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. I always have, for example, when I coach people, I'm coaching them, but I'm also coaching who they're going to be coaching, which means I have a different customer mindset, which means I need to make sure I'm disciplined in my coaching methodology. I need to make sure they can duplicate and share what they've learned with others. So the coaching methodology that I use is always designed so that they can duplicate or multiply what they've learned with someone else, and they can take that methodology and use it with other people. So what happens is I'm building multipliers automatically and making myself obsolete, which is totally okay, because the more I make myself obsolete through my coaching, through my teaching, through my training, empowering people to learn, I make myself obsolete, which is totally okay, because then I have more chances to help other people, which makes the chance of significance much larger.
Wow.
It's a different mindset. It's thinking 3 steps ahead versus just the customer in front of me. I'm thinking, who is he going to be, he or she going to be coaching? And can they take,
What you've done.
can they take it and apply it in their area of influence? Because leadership is influence, nothing
Mhm.
more, nothing less. And John Maxwell says that very clearly.
That's it. Like you just said, it's a very famous line from John Maxwell that leadership is influence. I'm just really curious because we see you like really nailing it every time. It looks so easy for you. I'm sure there are behind the scenes that we don't see, but can you share a pivotal moment in your life when you realize the importance of strong leadership, and how did your personal journey shape your understanding of what it means to become an effective leader?
A very good example, I was tasked to build a team from scratch. Actually, I was asked to put my money where my mouth is. I'm always sharing with my bosses back then of John Maxwell and all the other people I've been influenced by. And they see me leading myself well. They ask me, hey, James, could you build a team and help basically duplicate yourself? I'm like, I'm not going to duplicate myself, but I will definitely build a team. I realized that I needed to find the right people with the right capabilities
Hmm.
and with the right mindset. So to do that, I needed to be able to adapt to those people to serve them best, which means I needed to figure out who they are, what they believe, and why do they want to join the team so that I could speak their language. That ability to adapt as a leader, to listen to your people and to learn to speak their language to empower them, that came from my own personal journey because I grew up in a household that was mixed communication. My mother's deaf, my father's hearing. So what happens is we communicate differently at home. My
Wow.
mother speaks, my father uses his hands, even though he speaks and he can hear. Sometimes my mom would use her language as a deaf person, which most people don't understand besides us, and she wouldn't sign. Whereas my father would sometimes not speak, but use sign language. Imagine as a young person, you have to adapt to that type of environment, which led me to be very aware of
Mm.
the importance of communication. And I realized at that moment, I was asked because often I was given people. I came into a leadership position where I already had a team and I had to get to know my team. This position, I built my team from scratch.
From scratch.
So I was able to hand pick, or they basically hand picked me. I basically figured out what they needed in a leader. I asked them, what did they expect in a leader? That was my first question. It wasn't what I expect of them. I asked them, what do you expect of me? How can I serve you best that you can bring your expertise on the street to the job, to the process that you're going to own as in your position? What do you need from me as a leader? Where are your strengths and weaknesses that I can help you? Just watching people adapt to that question and answer that question helped me figure out if I can lead them.
Introducing Masterpiece Kingdom Brand's free brand assessment guide, Future Proof Your Brand. In just 10 minutes, complete a quick and insightful assessment with 35 key questions designed to help you take an honest look at your brand and gauge its future resilience and adaptability. Discover valuable insights in 5 essential areas: brand digitalization, brand online presence, brand resilience, customer experience, and brand culture. Once you finish the assessment, we'll send you a report detailing your score so you can identify where your brand can truly grow. The best part is, this assessment is completely free. Don't fear the future. Take the step to transform your insights into action. Take our free Future Proof Your Brand assessment guide and join other kingdom-minded leaders who are already using it to elevate their brands. Visit masterpieceBrands.com/course/futureproof and start future-proofing your brand today. That's really crazy, hey? It sounds very simple, but it really changes the game. You just ask them what they expect of you. And in turn, you then, of course, I'm sure they will have different answers, but then you already can know how you can serve them best and take that. Wow, that's genius, James.
That's different. It's serving your people first, last, and always. And to serve your people, like John says, there are different levels of leadership. You have the leadership level 1, where the boss on paper. You're the boss. Yeah, that's okay. Most leaders and most managers, they're leaders on boss. Sorry, they're managers on paper, contract. Then you have level 2, which is permission. Your employees give you permission to lead them. Now, how do you get there? First, your mindset. You have to understand that you're there to serve them so they can serve you best and your company. And that's a different mindset. And that's been a mindset, it's been around for thousands of years. Just very few select people understand it. And those select people are very significant today. We have names like Richard Branson. We've got other leaders that are really significant and successful. There's a big difference.
It's a very huge difference. And I think a lot of our listeners are solopreneurs or small business owners and pastors. They're people of faith. I know a few people who really just acted on as an act of obedience in finding a business, becoming a coach. And what you've just shared is a very good way to think about how to grow and scale. And even building something from scratch, that's not really easy. I'm curious as well to ask James, you've mentioned so much about the John Maxwell leadership team, and you have the honor and the privilege to lead the German-speaking region. Now, what specific strategies or advice, even maybe like tips that you can give to our masterpiece makers in the lens of leading something this big? Maybe you're in level 1 of leadership. You're the boss and you don't know how to get out of that thing. What is it that you can advise, especially when you're a leader listening to this and you just feel stuck?
As you said, a lot of your people that listen to you are solo entrepreneurs. They have maybe small business. Everybody wants to be successful on the secular side, how the secular side sees it, because we have banks, we have German payments. We still have to pay our bills and we still have to be able to even pay our employees. The ability to scale, because it's lonely at the top, are for people who don't understand what scaling means. So if you want to scale, you need to find people who are smarter than you. Because if they're smarter than you, you have to serve them. So you put yourself in a position to serve those smarter people, because you serve them, let them bring their expertise to the area of responsibility, you're going to scale as a side effect, because that expertise is what's going to bring you to the next level. So the biggest tip that I can give anyone is, like John says, if you're the smartest guy in the room, it's time to leave the room. My experience with German-speaking Europeans or German-speaking market, we love having leaders who are experts in the past and they become leaders but have no experience in leading. So what happens is you have lots of experts who are leaders that don't know how to lead people, and then they get stuck. So scaling means find smarter people, empower them, let them implement their expertise, because the side effect will be your business will grow. And with it, your influence and your success will automatically move to significance, because people love to be able to use their expertise and put it to practice. If you can empower people to do that, things will change drastically and quickly. When I hire people to do certain jobs, I ask them, how are you smarter than me? Where's your expertise? Have you researched my background? What do you know about me? Because if you're not smarter than me in this area of expertise, I don't need you. Where are you smarter than me? And second question I ask them, if they get past the second interview, is how are you going to up level the team? How are you going to bring things to the team to make the team even better than it is today? And then third question, what metrics do you need to be able to improve on your own deliverables? So you have your own metrics. You have your own result metrics. You have your metrics that all banks want to see. You have your standard metrics.
Yeah.
When it comes to leading people and scaling and building a team, ask them what metrics that they can develop that will up level their own abilities. The side effect is that they define their own metrics. They define their own success.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was really like a leadership 101 golden nugget right there. A way to find the right people to join your team, the way to challenge the current people that you have on your team, and also questions that you need to ask yourself to make sure that what you're leading will not just become successful, but really significant to your community and the people that you're serving.
I do a workshop with them and ask them to share their strengths and weaknesses in their realm of responsibility with the team. I'm just leading. I'm just one of the members. I'm not like the boss of the workshop. And then, very important, I ask the people to give them feedback of what they heard from the person. And then I ask the person, do you feel understood? What have I done? I have created team coherency in how to ask questions, how to listen, and at the same time, they learn about the strengths and weaknesses of each other. From day one, they've learned to listen to each other. They've learned about each other, and they've also been encouraged by each other, because everybody loves to be heard and understood. What did you hear? And did you feel understood?
And in effect, this leads to a better working team that drives your success and eventually leads to a significant impact in the person and in the company and in the team. Wow. James, I'm so sorry we don't have much time, but I could talk to you the whole day and it would be amazing. In this season, I wanted to try something new, and I actually want to challenge our masterpiece makers to do at least one actionable step of how to become a better leader every time, or a better kingdom brand ambassador. So in our topic today of living a significant life, James, what challenge, like one challenge, do you want to give our listeners to be able to step into that if they're not thinking of living a significant life now, but like what questions should they ask themselves?
I've got a brilliant one. I think I used this one in you a couple months ago, but I'll bring it.
Go for it.
So I have to set the stage. Imagine yourself on a train or on a plane, but it's 5 years from today. So we'll call it 2030. You're sitting on a train or a plane, and you're sitting next to 2 or 3 people, unless you're in business, so you're good to go. You overhear 2 people talking about their significant other. They're talking about their experience with their boss. They're talking about the experience that their husbands or their significant others have at their company. So it's the spouse or the friend or whatever of these people. So it's like a secondhand knowledge. So you're overhearing what they're saying. After about 10 or 15 minutes, you realize that they're talking about you. They might be talking about you. You're hearing situations, you're hearing names. They don't know it's you because they don't work for you. It's the significant other or friends or husbands and wives of your people. And they're talking about you, or talking about your company, or talking about your services, talking about your church, whatever. Question is, this is 5 years from now. Question I have for you is, what do you want to hear?
There. Okay. Drop the mic. Okay. Masterpiece makers, you heard it. Hey, 5 years from now, we overhear this conversation on the train or the plane. What do you want to hear? That's going to keep our masterpiece makers up and running, James. Oh, man. Thank you so much for joining us today. And you've talked about the Maxwell Leadership Certificate program here in Europe. So can you just quickly tell our listeners what it is about and how can they learn more about it?
Yeah, basically, I'm sure there'll be some show notes. Just reach out to me through LinkedIn or Facebook. I'm not really much on Instagram. I'm probably too old for Instagram. I don't know. But just reach out to me. The Maxwell Leadership Program, we are developing Maxwell certified leaders. You'll learn to be a certified Maxwell leader in that you'll learn how to speak, inspire your people, learn how to coach and train your people in a very efficient and effective manner. Additionally, you'll end up learning what I've been sharing because he's been mentoring me for almost 20 years. The Maxwell Leadership Program in German-speaking Europe is designed to up-level the leadership in German-speaking Europe, and we're looking for people to make powerful, positive change. So if you're up for the task and up for the challenge to up-level your leadership, even leading yourself or preparing yourself for a leadership role, reach out to me and I can definitely share with you the program. I would love to be able to serve you in this format.
Yeah, amazing. We'll definitely drop the link on our show notes. And guys, I've been part of the Maxwell leadership team recently. And I tell you, based on my experience so far, it's been game changing and one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. But anyway, James, thank you so much. We'd love to have you back sometime.
It'd be an honor. It'd be a privilege.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.